So we got some problems right now in La La Land. Okay. LeBron James, everybody says that he's been defying father time basically for a decade now. That he should have been done, 7-8 years ago. And he kept putting it off. And he's like, hey, look at his numbers. He hasn't slipped at all. Well, we may be seeing the slippage happen right before our eyes. Here's some numbers for you guys. I'm going to read them off to you. You let me know what you think. Over the last 10 games, LeBron James is averaging 5 turnovers a game, which is a lot for a guy like him.
That's a lot.
But if some people might say he's one of the best point guards.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
1 or 2 even. Over the last 6 games, he's shooting 43% from the field, which is a lot for a guy who spends a lot of time at the rim. Over his last 5 games, he is 3 for 29 from 3, including missing his last 18 straight.
That's unbelievable.
And tonight in this game against Minnesota, where they're down by 14 on the road, back-to-back, LeBron James, 2 for 11 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3, 3 turnovers, a team worst by far, plus-minus of minus 18. Is the fall-off happening right now?
I think they should bring Bronny up and get him in the game. I'm just saying. Yes. The Wash King, you remember? Every time he used to do that when he'd have a big game.
I was the Wash King.
I thought I was the Wash King. That might be, he might need to bring that back.
Yeah, you know how.
Wash King. I am the Wash King.
Listen, you know how on your washing machine there's a quick rinse? He ain't the wash one, but it is a quick rinse happening right now, Rob G, where it is happening. Look, you know how I feel about LeBron, amazing career. I believe the best player of all time. Jordan's the greatest. We don't have time to get into all that right now.
Yeah, that's weak. Just pick one or the other.
No, I just told you.
Just weak.
Jordan is the greatest. The best player is LeBron. But, yeah, the demise has to happen. It becomes how do you utilize him during said demise, right? It's going to happen, and it's happening. His legs are going out and shooting, missing all these threes is a sign that he's shooting. The touch is gone. You know what I mean? The legs are gone, I should say. But it's how does J.J. Redick utilize him? He still can get you 22 to 25 minutes a game.
He's already used LeBron. He got the job. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, that was a good one. That was better than the salt spray.
I'm just saying.
How do you use him? You know what I mean? Do you use him do you post him up more so maybe he doesn't have to utilize his legs? Do you get him more breaks? Save 2 minutes an extra quarter? How do you utilize him? And here's the other part that I think is the hardest part for players, and you know this from covering it. How does LeBron have a real conversation with himself? I'm in the best shape. I have my mind, as long as my mind, body, and spirit.
And I spend $1 million a year. Yes, we know all
LeBron, get it. But, bruh, if we make the playoffs, that's when we need you the most. But we also need you to stay active and stay contributing.
We've had a conversation on this show for a while that while LeBron's numbers, Rob G, look the same, the impact wasn't the same.
No, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like there were nights you would look, LeBron has 35 and 12 and 10, and they would lose, and you would go like that. In those days when LeBron had those kind of numbers, that's a win. I don't care who else is on the team. You would win those games.
That's 60 games with Cleveland.
Am I right?
It doesn't matter who was on me, you, Rob G, and Alex were the starters.
And then all of a sudden, you know, they didn't win those games, and you start to go, well, is the impact the same? And now you're looking at the shooting, and you just said, I just saw him miss a shot again.
He's missing you get in the offensive rebound and literally putbacks that he make 99.999 thousand times in his career, percent of the time. He's missing those. His legs are gone. I'm watching him now. Look, he ain't moving, which is fine if we're utilizing you in certain ways, certain roles, certain times. He can't be playing 37, 38, 40 minutes. Rob G, look that up for me. How many minutes is he playing? He can't be playing these heavy minutes. I want to be playing. I want to be – okay, I get it. But the problem is you're playing in an NBA that is much younger now. 35 minutes a game is a lot, Rob. He's going to be 40 in a matter of a few weeks here. You're playing in an NBA where guys are coming in at what age? 19 and a half. And then by the time the next couple years or two, they're starting and they're playing. Man, that's energy. These guys are running up and down the court, and teams have realized one of the ways we can beat the Lakers is go, go, go. If you play a slow pace, you're not going to beat a LeBron and Anthony Davis team. You get what I mean? Because they're just too efficient. I know he was struggling now, but they're too efficient. Ooh.
Oh, man.
That was bad, LeBron. He dagged.
Did he even get rimmed?
Yeah, he nicked. God blessed him for being kind to people.
They have LeBron 5 points, 2 for 13 from the field. So
they're just going to be playing too many young teams. And look what happened. You missed a 3, Anthony Edwards, a young guy full of energy, full of young spry legs, comes and hits a 3. And JJ Redick is going to have a podcast conversation with his boy LeBron and say, look, man, I need you to start on the post. Easier bucket. You way out here at half court trying to pick and roll all the time. That's just not going to cut it all the time. We're going up against teams who are running. Now, he's going to have these games where he still has a 40-pointer or a 32 like you mentioned because he's just that gifted. But he's going to have to find a better way to contribute more. And Anthony Davis or some other guys are going to have to start becoming the focal point because it's also costing Rob on the defensive end.
But that's what
he can't keep up.
Right.
He can't keep up. And if JJ doesn't have an honest conversation, they're saying you absolutely can contribute and have amazing nights, but we got to find better schemes. And we got to find, maybe we're going to have to start playing zone more. Like they're going to have to start having these real conversations here soon.
No doubt. It doesn't look good. I'm sure they're not going to panic yet.
No, it's still way too early to panic.
But when you're this age, though, it's a
real conversation.
And they talk about it. It's never gradual. It's supposedly like one day you're doing this, and then the next day you're not doing this. And that's usually at age. It'll catch up with you. Nobody has beaten Father Time. It just hasn't happened. At some point, you're not going to be able to do what you did.
And you can still contribute, though, Rob. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to find your better way. Jason Kidd, who was flying up and down the court, alley-oops, running fast breaks with the Nets and doing all that. Then he had to set the tone, set the offense. Okay, boom, I hit a 3, but we're going through Dirk. I'm just here giving you 8 and 8 a game. And it led to part of a contributor to a championship. So it's going to be interesting how JJ, if you're going to have a real talk with his guy and say, let's find the best way.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting just to see how it plays out. And then you just brought up the JJ, whether or not he can have a real conversation with LeBron. Like there's whether LeBron wants to acknowledge or be honest about whether his influence got JJ Redick, his podcast partner, the head coaching job. The last thing you want to do if you're JJ Redick is get on LeBron's bad side. Let's just be honest, right? I think it's a complicated and combination, and it's compromised. You're compromised. It's impossible not to have this be compromised.
As much as JJ, I think in his head doesn't think that, like I've built this. It's like you have built up a relationship with your buddy that you feel like I'm the one who should be able to tell, hey man, you got to get your act together. You got to stop drinking. Man, you got to stop doing this out in the street.
That girl's
whatever.
Not good for you.
That girl's not good. I'm trying. Whatever it is, you got to not do this, be able to do that. It's different when your buddy is, in this case, arguably the face of the league for 20 years, you know what I mean, and controlling teams and controlling the narrative. It's a lot harder than just your normal buddy who can, hey, man, you've been hanging out too much. Hey, man, I think you need to, you really need to tighten up on your job, right. Buckle down. Or, hey, man, I'm be honest with you, you need to spend more time with your kids, man. It matters. And this is a different scenario because this buddy, you're the boss, but you really ain't the boss. You know what I mean? You're the coach, but it's not quite like that.
You already know where it is, so
yeah,
this will be interesting to say. Yeah, they're down by 11.
Do you think, and it's this serious conversation, do you think LeBron is even capable of doing less? Because he's already made a point as recently as this past weekend is saying,
I'm not going to be that guy to hurt the game.
I'm not going to be that guy. He also said, well, the reason why I have a hard time getting in a rhythm is because my usage rate is the lowest it's been in a long time. It's actually the second lowest of his career. The problem, though, is even his second lowest usage rate, 29.1, is right there with Jalen Brunson. And no one's going to call Jalen Brunson a low usage player.
Right, that's interesting.
So pound,
LeBron, and this is something that actually Chris Broussard used to say, rest in peace, the original Odd Couple on this show. Chris used to,
for 2 seconds.
Chris used to say that one thing that he's always thought about LeBron was he never played in a system. It was always he's
the system, right.
And LeBron has only ever played that way. And that's right or wrong. He's gotten a lot of success. Yeah. It's also why they weren't able to overcome teams like Golden State who played in a system that had guys doing certain things in a lot of different ways. and LeBron just couldn't match that by himself. Because if you look, and I brought up the recent stats, this season as a whole, he's at his second lowest usage percentage, his second lowest offensive box plus minus, and here's the worst one. Just the second time in his career, not since his rookie age 19 season, he has a negative defensive blocks plus minus.
Now, that's unbelievable. That has been
so he is actively hurting his team just by being out there on defense.
Well, I mean, that's the easier one. Meaning, if I knew that,
he can't move defensively.
He can't move.
But it's like, if you know all these things are telling you, it's going, and it's going quick. Is he mentally and emotionally capable of saying, you're right, I got to take a step back even more than I have?
I think what has to happen is this, and this is why you hope, here go Jameis Winston throwing a pick six. Bad Jameis. This is why you hope J.J. Redick is the type of guy in which they can have these honest conversations, Rob, so that he can say, hey, man, it's just me. Ain't nobody else in this room. I don't need Rich Paul. I don't need this. I don't need the podcast mic on. It's just me and you. The goal is for you to win another ring before this is over, or at least give us the best shot, right? And to your point, LeBron is a number guy in analytics. He's going to look, man, this is what's happening when you're out here and da-da-da-da-da. We have to have you out there, but we have to find the best way. And I believe it's ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you list out what it is.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And that's the only way is if he's got a guy he believes, like, to your point, Ty Lue. If Ty Lue was that guy, I think the Lakers missed never giving him that chance.
I agree. But Ty Lue's a different coach. And he comes in with something in his back pocket, a championship. Mm-hmm. He's had success.
Been through the battle.
He took the Clippers, right, all the way to the Western Conference Finals, somewhere they had never been. I'm just saying, like, he has some cachet, whereas J.J. Redick really doesn't. And some of these other coaches to really approach LeBron and be able to, have that frank or real conversation. I don't know. I just think LeBron, where he is now, it's going to be real hard to change and have him do something different. I just don't see it.
This will be a great testament to your question, Rob G. If he can. If, say, we get around January-ish and all of a sudden he's going more point, I just push the ball, get it out faster, get it, like the hockey is like, I'm just getting it out ahead. It's not about if I get the assist or not. Just get it out to the young guys, let them go. Or if they come up with a great defensive scheme where they play some amazing zone or whatever it is where he's like, I admit I'm not at my best when we do this, so let's mix it up. That'll be a great testament because it's hard for players. He's been a man since he was, 8?
And because the extreme version of this is Kobe. His last couple seasons, we all knew that it was over.
Yeah.
Right.
But did he stop playing the way he was playing? No.
Nope.
He was taking 17 shots a game in 35% of them.
God bless the dead. Kobe went out like Kobe,
he was going to be
he?
Kobe.
Right.
And is LeBron just going to be LeBron?
And what he scored his last game?
60.
60
and he had, 55 shots?
50 shots.
Yeah, really bad.
I was there.
Efficiency,
that was crazy.
That was terrible.
That-
It was like 50 shots or whatever.
It was fun, though. Being there, it didn't matter. The season was over. They were a terrible team. And
but
that's why he got away with it, because the teams were terrible.
Right.
This Laker team still has a top 5-ish player in Anthony Davis.
for sure. And they're capable of being a 6, 7, 8, 9 seed somewhere in there. Like to me, they look just like the last 2 years. This is what they look like. They'll go on a streak. They'll win, 7 out of 10. Then they'll lose 4 or 5. They're going to be, 8 to 10, 12 games above 500. Like, they look like that. It's going to be a conversation that has to be had, though, at some point. Because, again, Father Time, he has postponed them. He took him to 15 rounds like the old boxing matches, a Rumble in the Jungle. But dang it, Father Time is Floyd Mayweather. He ain't lost.